It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light, little flock. It would be well with you if you rested in who you truly are. If you've been coming to the School of Marvelous Light, then you should know very well who you are. That you are not the carnal, but you are the spiritual. And when you rest in that, then you become powerful. But when you don't rest in that state of being a spirit, you become weak. It doesn't matter how you appear to the 3D world, because the 3D world is an illusion. It's a sign of what's actually going on. Can y'all understand that? That everything that you see is just a sign of what's going on in the hearts and minds of men? Because that's the truth. Christ said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. When you pray, go into a secret place and close the door. For your Father who sees in secret, so the only secret place that you know of is the place within you. That just happens to be where Yahusha says the Father sees. But look at this, little flock. You have an enemy. And your enemy doesn't want you to know what it is. And the irony of it all is, as long as you don't know who you are and rest in who you are, then you will not know what anything else is. As Yahusha said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. You shall know the truth of what? The truth of who I am. And when you know the truth of who I am, then you're made free from anything that tries to tell you what you are. And what tries to tell you what you are is the circumstances around you. As we're reading from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, casting your bread upon the water and not paying attention to the wind and the waves that you see around you, or you won't sow those seeds. You won't put that bread upon the water, in other words. You see it? So it is with our lives. If you don't recognize that you're the spirit man and you forget or you doubt and you return to the carnal mind of the state that you're in, it's because the wind and the waves affected you. And so how you see how he says in Ecclesiastes, you won't get your bread back. You won't reap a harvest. See? People think when they put a seed in the ground, they're putting seed, like a wheat seed. But what you're actually putting is some bread in the earth. You see it? Because that's the hope of the end result that you want. You don't just want to plant the wheat so you can watch it grow. And then when it's done growing, you watch it wither and die. That's not the purpose you planted it. You planted it so you can make some bread and eat. So that's what you really planted in the earth. But if you're looking at the weather to tell you whether you should plant or not, then you won't plant. You're considering the 3D when you plant, so you won't get it. So do you see how he says you're considering the 3D when you do something, and so you don't get it when you consider the 3D? But when you ignore it, like Ecclesiastes says, like Yahusha said when he was walking on that water that day, proving that he can overcome it if he ignores it. You see? But when the waves started to blow, what happened when Peter stepped out there? Well, he walked as long as he focused on Yahusha. But when he paid attention to the wind and the waves that started to kick up, he started to sink. So it's everywhere in the Bible, isn't it? Isn't that interesting, little flock? When you see it, when you start to pay attention to your outside circumstances, you become weak. You lose faith. You see it? And you become afraid. When you become afraid, that is the proof that you've entered the carnal mind. Because to be perfectly spiritually minded literally is saying what? You're perfectly faithful. You're fearless because there is no fear in love. Perfect love casts it out. So it casts the carnal mind away from you. When you are perfectly loving, I am. Don't you see how it works with the grandson is actually telling you all and what he continuously tells you all? That when you love I am, nothing can befall you. That's actually keeping the first commandment of the Most High. Do you understand that? That's what you're doing when you don't become afraid. When something happens and it seeks to make you afraid, that's the test of the enemy. So that's telling you that that's the device of Satan. And it is written that we're not ignorant of his devices, right? We understand them, we see them, we recognize them, and we know them. You see? But what happens when you forget? When you get deceived? And then comes stress, depression, sadness, and grief. All of the things you don't want, right? Well, those things come forth from each one of our hearts. Not someone else, but our own. And so it's best that we keep watch over our hearts and we keep watch over what comes forth from there. Because what were we told? That's what defiles a man. It's what comes out of his heart. But what do men focus on? What goes into his mouth? So you see how Yahusha cleared that up? But you see how men still want to keep it foggy? Why? Because they want to block you from the kingdom of heaven. I told you, once you know who you are, then your enemy is destroyed. You're free. Your enemy is nothing but a slave master that seeks to bring you into bondage. That's your carnal mind. It seeks to bring you into bondage and receive its thoughts. And it's telling you it's protecting you. It's telling you it's sticking up for you. It's telling you that it has your best interest at heart. When all that time that it's telling you those things, it's a liar. It can't do anything but lie. Yahusha made that clear. When it speaks a lie. The carnal mind. That's how you recognize it, not by any other sign. That's why I be telling you guys, don't focus on all the other stuff you hear. Focus on if it's a lie, because that will tell you who's talking to you. So when you hear a preacher or a teacher or a shepherd or anybody else teaching the flock, whether he lies or not is what you should be paying attention to, because it is the truth that makes you free. So if the intent of his heart is to set you free, then will he lie to you? No, he can't. So then will he break God's commandments? He can't. See how the Bible says he cannot sin. See it? Why? Because the seed remains in him. See what I told you about? When you plant a seed, what is Abba saying? My seed remains in him. When you plant that seed, you're planting bread. But to the carnal mind, it looks like you're planting a seed. So when Abba planted you, what did he do? He planted a spirit. So no matter what it looked like or what it goes through, it's going to ultimately come to fruition to what it is. Or in other words, manifest that it is a spirit, which is a child of God. See how that's going? Because God is a spirit. And the true worshipers worship him in spirit. The spirit is invisible. So the true worshipers worship God invisibly. See what I'm trying to tell you all, little flock? It's not about what you see them do on the outside. That's why I purposely do things that the world condemns and calls unclean. I do it to prove to you that does it change what comes out of my heart? Does it change the truth or the potency of what I'm saying? Does it change me? Does it change I am? No, it doesn't. So I show you and I prove it to you. Only a fearless man would do that. Only a man who believes God would do that. See what I'm trying to say to you? So when people say, show me your works, grandson, I am. Y'all just don't know what invisible work manifests as. It manifests as your state of being, but y'all don't actually know that. So Christ had to reveal the Father to you by saying, peace, be still, be of good cheer. Don't worry. Don't stress about this. Take no thought of that. So then if you were listening to him and keeping what he's saying, then you would be taking the things that he's telling you to throw out of your temple, you throw them out. You do the cleaning that he's telling you to do, because that's the cleaning he said is necessary. If you clean the inside of the cup, then the outside shall be clean. But men only focus on the outside. So people that say they serve God only clean the outside. And that's confirmable with scripture over and over and over again. Correct, little flock? So there ain't no question about what men focus on to prove whether you serve God or not. We read that Paul had to do an act in front of men so that they would think he was keeping the commandments of God, because they thought that he wasn't. Do you guys see that he had to do that? Do y'all hear that that's written in the Bible? Do you see that? Do this. The apostles told Paul, his brothers told him, do this thing right here with your hair. And if you do this, then they will say, oh no, Paul's not teaching against the law. He keeps the law. Look at him. See, look at him. He keeps the law. That's what he was told to do. Peter also was eating with the Gentiles. But when the Jews came around, Peter would stop eating with the Gentiles and act like a clean Jew again. And Paul said, hey, isn't that fake to do that? Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. See it? Stop trying to please men. Stop focusing on men's judgment because their judgment is wrong. Their judgment is only going to lead you astray and make you do things that piss God off and incur God's wrath, as we read in the scripture. The carnal mind is death, so it can only feed you death thoughts. And as long as you recognize that and know that, then what will you spend all your day doing? What work and labor will you spend all your day doing? Keeping the inside of your temple clean. That's where you living at. Shit, you don't like to keep your house clean? Well, some people don't. I understand. Some people just don't. Shit, they don't care what's under the bed or in the closet or hidden, stashed up behind some stuff. They don't care. They would rather make the house appear to be clean and stash shit all up under stuff and put shit in drawers and in cabinets and close shit behind doors and everything, but sweep the outside appearance to make it look good. So that when friends come over, they say, wow, your house looks really clean, man. Jeez, you keep a clean house, but the shit just hidden. So now let's get to this point of this message that I really want to hit on. The devices of Satan. Didn't I just say the trash is hidden? Yep. So the truth of the room is hidden to the naked eye. So it's a good thing Abba doesn't judge that way. And so he says that men have omitted the weightier matters of the law. And one of the weightier matters, he said, was judgment. So that means that men omit judgment from understanding what God has said to them. They omit that part. Okay, well, I'm here to readmit that part. See what I'm trying to tell you? Because that's part of the proof that the Spirit of God is speaking to you. Because he's going to talk about judgment. He's going to reprove the world concerning judgment. That means he's going to correct what they think about what judgment actually is. Because you've been led by carnally minded men. I told you, they think if they make it look clean, then when the Father comes in and he says, oh, wow, the house looks very clean, they think they'll get away. But they're not, because he knows the hidden things and searches out the hidden things. So then he's not looking for the outward show of what the room looks like when he comes. That's what I'm here to actually tell all of you. See the difference? He's not going to look at how you look. That's why I'm not concerned with it. So I'm not only just saying it as a hypocrite would do, but he stands up there in a church with an Armani silk suit on while he's saying, Christ says, take no thought, little flock. See, I'm not one of them fake ass shepherds that lead you astray. I am one of those who gather. See, I gather. You see that? For the Haggai. If you understand that, if you've been here at the School of Marvelous Light, that's what I'm gathering the little flock for the Haggai. So I'm not scattering, I'm gathering. I know it sounds similar, but it has two different functions. You see? So it's about gathering the flock back to the Spirit. He's going to draw us back to the Father. The Father is a spirit. So you need to understand how a spirit judges. A spirit doesn't judge you based on how you appear. Men do. He told you that. But Abba judges the heart and the reins, and the intents of a man's heart. Reins means what he self-controls in his life. Men think that means, okay, that means I was on semen retention. So that means I've restrained myself from lust and I'm strong now because of that. No. You see it? That has to do with your dealings with the outside world. We're focusing on your dealings with yourself on the inside. Self-control is about dealing with things like maliciousness, things like covetousness. You see it? Yes, things like adulteries. You see? Fornications. But when men hear that, they think that means adultery with another man's wife. Or a woman going out and being married and going out and sleeping with another man. That's as far as your mind can go with what you've heard, because you're carnally minded, if that's how far your mind can go. See? But that's not what it's telling you, because God is a spirit. So to commit adultery means to believe any other word other than God's word. That's what adultery is. So now, if I receive only God's word, will I commit physical adultery? See how the outside of the cup is clean now? Because I've cleaned the inside, which is, I know what adultery truly is. It's cheating on God. Fornications is having many other thoughts that I listen to concerning a goal. So for instance, if my goal is to something simple, it's to make $100,000 within 6 months. Let's just say that's my goal, to make 160,000 within 6 months. Now, I'm going to get advice as to how I can do that. So I'm going to talk to people. Now, when I hear somebody who's done it, who shows the evidence that they've done it and says, this is how you do it, then do you guys believe that I could probably trust that information? Probably, right? The person's done it, so they know that it's effective and what they're saying works. They've tried it and done it. It's tried and true. So now once I get that information, I can either believe what that man has said by what he has shown me and what he has said and do it, or what, little flock? Or what could I do? I could disbelieve it and I can go searching for some more information. That's what people are doing with Yahusha. They're hearing what he says, they're hearing his advice and his counsel, but they're still going out searching for someone else's counsel and someone else's advice concerning the things they hope for, like the man trying to get the 100K, you see? So you start to go out and get other advice from other men and other people and start to ask other people to mentor you and all kinds of things like this, right? And you listen to all these other people and you don't ever make the 100 grand. You don't. So you just keep listening to more teachers, heaping unto yourselves, having itching ears. Do you hear the comparison? So having itching ears, they're searching for more teachers, heaping them up to themselves, never able, always studying, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth, denying the power. So that first man that told you, you denied the power that what he told you was true. So you heaped unto yourself. Look how the scripture just connects like Legos. I mean, doesn't it? Doesn't it or doesn't it? It does. You see that there? So they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. So you never were able to hit your goal because you just kept listening and fornicating and committing adultery on the truth. That's what really matters to you in life. So it's not about you laying down in no bed or hiding in no backseat in no car, is it? Nope. But that's what men think because men only know how to judge that way, carnally. And they think that's good enough. But if you will be perfect, then clean the contents of your heart out because I see that. And that's what happens when you get eyes that are a flame of a fire. People start thinking carnal again. So they see a man sitting there with actual flames up in his eyes. But the grandson got flames in his eyes. Can you all see them? What does flames in the eyes mean? It means that when you look at something, you burn up all of the bullshit that you're looking at, and you only leave what is actually there. They're called the truth lenses. Do you got some? That's what eyes of flame of fire mean. You have no cloak for your sin when he looks at you. Isn't that what he said? All right then. So then you know I ain't making nothing up. That's what I'm telling you guys. See how it's spiritual and it always is? Yeah, grandson, we do see that. That is interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Do you understand brass? Do you understand the skin of brass? Skeet deedly, they can't understand me. When a kingdom rises to power, there are different avenues it can take to become powerful. For instance, if you're Babylon, you could use riches to persuade people to come under your rule, correct? Flash shiny things in front of their faces and promise them the world of gold and riches. And then they'll come flocking to you. That's one way to gain political power in the earth, is it not? Okay. Have a bunch of money and great goods. That's one way to do it. What's another way to do it? Media. You notice I'm going through this statue. If you guys can understand what I'm saying, you'll see what I'm saying. So another way to get power and political power in a nation is to use the media, which is a wealth. See, people don't understand wealth. To control the media is a form of wealth and power. You see it? So then you could use that to gain political power and use propaganda machine and newspapers and Prince of the Air and all of this shit. We're on the air and use radio syndicate programs. And you guys know what I'm saying. You use your media. Okay, that's another way to do it. Well, what's another way to do it? Well, you could use your military might. I don't know if the bells are ringing in their head. That's brass. Represents your military. Isn't that what they call it? When you bring in the military, you say we're bringing in the brass. I don't know if people can hear the grandson's wisdom. Hope that they can. So you're bringing in the brass when you bring in the military. Now, let's see. Who was given this military might on the earth? Well, what's that third kingdom? Skeet lee, can you understand me? And then you have iron. Skeet lee, can you understand what that means? Abba says iron sharpens iron. That means a sword. So then that would be Roman. That would be the last kingdom I've described on this statue. What did they use when they went across the earth with their legionnaires? They used the sword. See what I'm trying to say to you? Now, I said brass is military, iron is the sword. What's the defining difference between the two? Well, did you read what kind of helmet Goliath had on his head? Oh boy. Goliath had on what, a brass or bronze? Is that what it says there? Interesting. So then we see that brass represents defensive, the defensive weapon. So then who was the third kingdom that was brass? That would be Greece. What is Greece known for? Did you watch the movie 300? They're known for not the sword, but the shield. I don't know if they can hear me. Now, those Spartans, they were known for carrying those shields and defending their brother to the side of them. And that was their tactic, was to fight as one impenetrable unit. So it's about defense, not offense. Their offense is their defense, which is the shield. Correct? Now, what was their shield made out of? I'm not gonna play around with these niggas. I'm not gonna play around. I'm just gonna pull the trigger. You see that, little flockulators? So then Israel has none of those things, do they? See how that's working? You see it? They don't have riches. They don't have the media. They don't have any army and military might, and they don't have any sword, any weaponry to fight with, because that's not their world at all. Ephesians actually told you where your armor is and how to wear it. Let me refresh your memory. Your helmet is not bronze or brass or any type of metal at all. Do you know what your helmet is? It's called the helmet of salvation. So that means that when you put that helmet upon your head, your thoughts are now contained in a single thought of being saved from every circumstance. That's the kind of attitude a warrior should have when he's on the battlefield, that he is safe, that he is protected, that he is back home telling war stories with his buds, clashing beers together at the bar. And as long as he stays in that mindset, he's proven that he is saved from the battle he's fighting. Oh my God, can you guys hear the wisdom that is coming out like rushing waters out of my belly right now? Can you guys actually hear it? Because I can. I'm witnessing it my damn self. So then do you see that that's what happens when you put that helmet upon your head? You're now locked in into that thought that I'm safe. I don't give a damn what these niggas say. Every time they try to hit you, it bounces off that thought that you have. That's the helmet that you got on. Now, we were talking about a shield that's made out of brass, right? Like the Spartans use, where your shield isn't made out of any type of metal. Do you know what your shield is made out of? It's called faith. And it quenches every single dart that is shot at you from your enemy. Well, if faith is my shield that's knocking down his words must be lies. So the fiery darts that he shoots are lies that my shield quenches when it hits it. It literally puts the fire out, and it bends that little piece of crap arrow into a piece of shit ass toothpick or some chopsticks I can eat a bowl of rice with. Now, my breastplate, theirs obviously was the media. You see that their little flocculators, brass and media and all that shit. Well, guess what my breastplate is? It's right thought. It's thinking right concerning the circumstance that I'm in. So you give me propaganda, that's your weapon you use. That's what your defense is for your lie. See, I cleaned my room. Can't you see that I cleaned it good? I know I got stuff under my bed, like old ass pizza with mold growing on it and a Mickey Mouse sitting on top with his feet kicked back. Finished a piece of pizza, now he's smoking a damn cigarette watching TV because I keep feeding that nigga every time I slide a new box under that damn bed. I know inside of my closet is some dirty, stinking, greasy ass drawers that I threw up in there. I know there's also some dirty, stuck ass socks that's still in the same shape as my foot that's up in that closet as well. But don't worry about that because I've cleaned everything else, didn't I? No, you didn't clean anything. You just moved some shit around to make it look like you did. Hear the grandson? That's called propaganda in media. See? We don't use that type of weapon. We use righteousness. We actually do the thing. We clean it so that when Abba come and look in the inside, he goes, let me look in that closet. The hell with this other shit. Yeah, let me look in that closet. Oh, clean. Let me look at that bed. I know that nigga got some shit under that bed. That Mickey Mouse smoking a cigarette up. But wait, no, it's clean. What do you do when you turn around and look at your son after looking up under all that shit and seeing it's clean? What do? You get mad at him? Come on, guys. Let's not be silly, guys. Let's not be silly. So that's your breastplate that you got on. Now remember, the Roman has a sword. He has a physical sword. In other words, he has weaponry. So then look at the world you live in. Do niggas got tanks? Helicopters come swooping up down on your ass. A predator drone flying over with a 50 cal with a laser pointed at your skull. These niggas got a carrier sitting on the damn ocean 1,000 miles away that can shoot a bomb at pinpoint accuracy and blow you off of the toilet you were sitting on taking a crap. They got airplane called AWAC that fly way above the clouds, way up high. You can't even know that he's there. This nigga can take a picture of a pack of cigarettes on the ground with great accuracy and clarity. And you're trying to tell me that you can fight against that nigga sword with a physical sword? Huh? No. You got a sword, though. It's called the Sword of Truth. It's the Spirit, which is power and might. That's the sword you got in your hand. Ah, man, the sword of the Spirit. Come on, guys. Not the carnal mind. That's not what you slash and gash with. You slash and gash with the Spirit. You see it? While they're talking shit with a physical sword. I don't have to even do anything. I simply cut through their sword with my mind. They shoot a weapon. I say I am safe. I am protected from the enemy's weapons. No weapon he formed shall even prosper against me. So then try it. See, that's my attitude. I really be like, well, then try your weapon. It won't prosper, Abba says. See how I just blindly believe what he tells me? I do. So then try your little pimp-ass weapon that you got that can't work on me. Now, I got a weapon that you can't see. So how the hell can you stop it when I swing it? They can't, little flock. That's why I swing it, and I don't care how they feel. Because what does it matter if you can feel anything about me swinging it when you can't see me swing it? It's like me standing there going, hey, man, I got a blade you can't stop, and I'm going to swing it in 5 minutes. And then you're like, oh, man, I can't do anything against this weapon. He's got 5 minutes. I'm going to be dead. 5 minute passes. Huh? Yeah, see? You were dead before you even knew I did anything. So then what was the purpose of even telling you? It was pointless. You couldn't stop it, nor did you know when I did it. That's called coming like a thief in the night. Who says that they do that? The Spirit does. See? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Don't you got a belt around your waist? It's called the belt of truth. So what that means is when you stand in truth, you don't stumble, you don't stagger, you don't stammer, You don't struggle around. You speak with great boldness and confidence, and you fight that way as well. Why would I not fight bold if I know I'm going to win? If I know I am winning, then I will fight very boldly and confidently and joyfully, actually. I'll be singing and dancing as I'm taking heads off shoulders. I will praise Abba while I swing this sword. Read your Bible and see if it says that. I bet you it does, and then you're looking confounded at me after you see it, and you go, well, grandson, it does say the saints have a two-edged blade in their hand and the high praises of God in their mouth while they're executing vengeance on the heathens. See? Foot sweeped your ass, and if you didn't know that. That damn simple. See how the spiritual mind is just doing this to people? It is what it is. You see it? And so on and so forth. Your feet. You have shoes on? That's what shod means. Shoed. What are your feet shoed with? Some Doc Martens? Some Nike all-terrain boots? The shit are your feet shod with? Well, when you look at the military might of the world, them niggas got on combat boots, steel toes and shit, and all kind of shit on their feet, right? Tread and every damn thing. Your feet are shod with the preparation of the gospel. Gospel means good news. So now, my feet are prepared when I'm running across the battlefield, slicing and dicing everybody I come across that ain't got the seal of God in their forehead. Then that means that, why do I say that before I continue? Because Yahushua said, my mother and my brother are those who do the will of the Father. The Father's name is I am. That's the seal that's in the forehead, the seal of the living God. If you don't have that seal, then you don't do the will of the Father. It's that simple. So I slice. So as I'm doing that, when I get across the battlefield, I may say a brother or a sister who's got their shield knocked out of their hand, or the helmet may be knocked off, or they may be surrounded by an enemy, or you know how it is on the battlefield. One of your homeboys may have got ambushed or maybe surrounded in a foxhole some damn where. You ain't gonna let that just happen, are you? Hell to the no. I'm coming to save. See how that goes? I'm going to come in there, chop all their heads off of those enemies that surrounded you, that had you so scared down in that pit. I'm going to chop each one of their heads off and let them roll on the ground right in front of you. And I'm going to tell you to stand up, put your armor back on, and punt kick these niggas' heads into the lake of fire one by one. I'll help you do it. Let's have some fun. Ka-splash. Another one bites the fucking lava. Now let's keep on fighting, brother. Let's go. See? Do you see it? The only reason you got knocked down is because you forgot the kind of fire you are. You ain't dead, so fight on. And when I mean by fight on, I mean fight, brother. Stand against these niggas. Because I'm telling you all this devices. I'm hoeing that nigga out to dry. I'm hanging that nigga out to dry. His little schemes are, make it look like I'm not doing what I'm really doing. And also make it look good. Well, wolves hiding in sheep's clothing. I'm not just hiding in any type of other kind of clothing. I'm hiding in sheep's clothing because I want God to also be fooled. Not only the flock, I want their shepherd to be fooled as well. See it? Isn't that the way that it is? But is our shepherd fooled? Or does he know the intents of your heart? See how it's working? So that's why he warned you all about that device, because that's the device that he uses. Now, who's using these devices? Before I end this message, it wouldn't do you any good to not know who's actually using these devices against you. Who's using these devices against you? This Bible says, your enemies shall be they of your own household. Do y'all hear that, flockulators? Your enemies will be they of your own household. Now, if you don't think that's true or that's not a reality, then all you need to do is consider every single chosen one of God. I don't care how many times you choose. You're going to see the same old thing. I'll walk with you through it quite a bit. I'll go 2 miles or maybe even 3 with you guys today so that you see the point. And once you see it, then I'll let your hand go and you can ride the bike without the training wheels and without me holding you, because you'll know exactly how to ride the bike after that. I guarantee you. Watch this. Let's start in the beginning. There was a man named Abel. He was called righteous by God, and God accepted him as a priest. See, because an altar and a sacrifice, and that sacrifice being accepted represents God accepting you as his high priest. So that would be Abel, the high priest that the whole world has forgot about and that nobody remembers. You see it? You see it? I made a song called They Forgot About Me. And maybe I'll post it one day and you guys can hear it and you'll understand why I'm singing that once you know about Abel here. So he was chosen. Now, who hated him? Some stranger, some outsider, some nigga he didn't know? Who hated him so much that they murdered him? So is the word already true right there in the beginning? He said he claimed the end from the beginning. So then the end is no different than the beginning. Is it? So then if the beginning was that a man's brother hated him so much that he killed him, then that's the same thing that's going to happen in the end. True? So then it's coming from your own house. So we've just proven that by saying it Cain and Abel. Now let's just keep on going. Let's let's just throw somebody else out here. Let's say Jacob. Esau is his twin. See how this goes? He hates Jacob with a perpetual hatred, and he cannot stop being violent toward his brother Jacob. That's what Abba said. So then there it is again. There it is again. Okay, so let's continue. David. David was out there with the sheep, and when David came to the battlefield, his brothers were there, and his brother said, "What are you doing out here? What do you come up here to be nosy and see what the hell's going on?" Now remember when Samuel came to anoint the king, they didn't even bring David in the house. His dad didn't even bring him in there. So then, do you see how his people felt about him? They felt that he was unprofitable and useless. But they were wrong as fuck. Like they always are, aren't they? Because the one they hate that they want to kill and push off to the side always is the one that ends up having to save them. Isn't it? Well, if you don't believe me, David was your first thing I just gave you that proved that he was the savior to Israel, so he came and saved them. Let's see if it continues. Joseph. Who hated him? I'm foot sweeping every last nigga like I'm Bruce Lee in that pagoda. We're going up levels. I'm going up every level, foot sweeping everybody till I get to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up there at the top, and then I'm going to leave my fucking footprint on his chest. He ain't putting no foot on my shit. I'm going to crush his head with the heel of my shit. That's how that goes. So that nigga going to have a footprint across his shit. See that there? Joseph was hated not by strangers, not by other people out there in the world, but by his own damn brothers. So there you have it again, guys. They stripped him of his coat. They lied. They threw him in a pit and sold him. They were plotting on murdering him and killing him. And guys, I don't know what else you want me to say. The proof is so thick here. We're climbing through it slowly because it's so thick of witnesses that we could point out that this is always the case. You know the coup de grace that I'm coming to. I haven't even got to it yet, but we'll take a little rewind right now and go back to Moses. Let's see. His sister Miriam and his brother Aaron murmured against him and talked some shit, and Miriam ended up with leprosy, which I've told you guys what leprosy represents. What does it mean? Leprosy is the whitening of the skin. The skin becomes white as snow, or as the Bible calls it, leprous as snow. Why does the skin become white? It becomes white because you're a hater of your brother. You hate him. You murder him when you hate him in your heart. Miriam did not stretch forth a hand or a blade or a knife to Moses. She murmured secretly in her heart when Moses wasn't there to hear it or see it. See? So Abba brought it out like he always does. And he said, why weren't you afraid to speak against my chosen? Why weren't you afraid to? Because, Abba, I mean, you talk to us too. Who the fuck Moses think he is running shit? See how when Abba picks the leader, that's how the people feel. His own people. Not the strangers and the people outside of his own family. No, the coup de grace is still coming, but let's just search through this cloud of witnesses. Let's just keep on going and see who else we may stumble upon. We were just talking about Joseph, right? All right, let's see who else we got here. Skeet and dee lee, let's search through the. Who else we got, y'all? Give me some ideas. Okay, well, let me give you another example. What about a man named Stephen? Who killed him? Another nation of people or his own people? One of which was a Benjamite who stood by holding the coats of the men who were stoning him. So he just came out of left field and threw that one in there, and it still lands on the same damn thing. His own damn people. His own damn kin. Okay, the coup de grace. Yahusha. What did his own personal physical family think about him? First of all, did he even acknowledge his physical family? As far as like going around telling people like, yes, this is my sister, this is my brother. What did he actually do? They said, your mother and your brother are here to speak to you. He said, who is my mother and my brother? They are they who do the will of the Father. See how I just hearkened to his words? That's my true mother and my brother. But now, how did his family feel about him? It's right there in the scripture. They said he must be crazy and out of his mind. And they went to go talk to him to put him back in his place because they thought that he was making more of himself than he was. That's how they felt about it. So then, if you are in the position of Yahusha, then how will your brothers and sisters feel about you? But how will they act? That's the key I want you to get here. Because they're going to do something against you. And before I end this message, like I said, I'm just pointing out who does it and then what they do. They act like they love you. They act like they support you. They act like they are loving everything about you and respect everything about you, and they're doing you right and treating you good. That's how they act. Notice I said act, because it is all an act. Because meanwhile, they're delivering blows to you of disrespect, of disdain, of just not liking you, of actually envying you, of being hateful towards you and coveting in their hearts. Therefore, they are becoming leprous. But this is what they do against you. They secretly do things to antagonize. It's called, we're going to call it, let's put it like that, the spirit of antagonism. Understand that, little flock? If you're part of the little flock, you are constantly being antagonized. That's simple. And it's by people who fake love to you. That's the antagonism. Because they're really being totally disrespectful to you. They're really being very hurtful to you and thinking horrendous thoughts about you in their minds and in their hearts. And you feel it. But since no one can see them doing that, they can get away with it. And that's the world you've been living in. And you'll see it everywhere around you. I'll give you a couple of carnal examples to prove it to you. If you're watching a basketball game, NBA basketball game, and let's say one player is antagonizing another one. He's just stepping on his foot, elbowing him a little bit here and there. Now, what is he doing, little flock? Is he obviously appearing to be cheating? No. He's feigning like he's not doing it on purpose. He's feigning like he accidentally is elbowing the guy and accidentally stepping on his foot, and he doesn't mean to do it. It's just part of the game, and it's just happening. He's doing this. Okay? While he's doing this, the one he's doing it to knows that it's being done purposely, but it's appearing as though it's being done accidentally. So while he's getting elbowed there, he lets it go. While he gets his foot stumped on, he lets it go. He gets kneed in the nuts, he lets it go. He gets elbowed in the jaw, he lets it go. He gets his hair tugged, he lets it go. He gets his jersey pulled and ripped, he lets it go. And then he finally gets that other step on that other foot, and he finally goes, bow, and punches the guy's lights out. And then everybody looks at the one who punched the lights out, which is you, and goes, see? And they accuse you of being wicked, evil, breaking God's commandments, and being worthy of death. See, we told you he was crazy. See, we told you he was violent. We told you he was evil. See, that's all they want to say. Once you know that that's the end result, is that's all they want to say, is to accuse you. Don't give them the ammunition. So in other words, would you punch the man after he stepped on your foot that other time? But how hard is it not to? See, that's the work and the labor that you do. Because if you retaliate, then you have become carnally minded. You have heard it said, eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, do good unto your enemies. Forgive them. Love them. So don't render evil for evil, but render good for evil. So then bear it. But how many people want to? No one does. That's why few find it. Can you hear it, little flock? That's why few find it. Because they're too offended. And Yahusha said that they would be. If you can search Yahusha's words and you find a scripture where he says, this night all of you should be offended in me. If you can find that in the scripture, then you know I'm not lying to you. So since it's offensive to the carnal mind to say, no, render evil for good? I mean, render good for evil? Forgive my enemies and love my enemies? Do good unto them? Carnal mind cannot accept that, can it? See? That's what's hindering men from the kingdom, not anything else. Not other stuff that men says that it is, what they eat, what they wear, and what they put on. It's not those things. It's the state and being of your heart. You hate your brother, then you're a murderer. And no murderer hath part in the kingdom of heaven. Cannot inherit it. It's that simple. But I didn't actually physically kill anybody. Do you know how many people are going to stand before God and say that? But then Miriam is going to step right up and accuse them to their faces and said, I didn't actually murder Moses, but I still was struck with the mark of a murderer. And your ass going to sit there looking stupid as fuck because you should have read it. And the grandson's telling you right now today that that's what it is. You live in a backwards, upside down world. Why do you think the world taught you that being white was good? And this is not a racist thing. This is not an evil thing. I'm only telling you the way the world operates. Why do you think they said white was good and black was bad? To be white was good. What does the Bible say? Your skin turned white. You got the mark of a murderer upon you. So you see how the world calls evil good? See it? And they call good evil? You're black. Your skin is dark. Well, what does God say about having white skin? Oh, he says it's leprosy. And if a blonde strand comes out of that white skin, he says it's unclean. Yeah, that's what he says. But look what the world says about it. See? That's what they do with everything. They carnalize everything and then they flip it and reverse it. That's what they do with everything because they're perverted and what do you call it? Faithless and perverse. So what do you think a perverted person will do with the information you give them? They're not going to flip it upside down and turn it backwards. That's what perverted means. They're going to pervert the information. So that's what people are doing with God. They're perverting it. It's not coming to them pure because their hearts aren't pure. So to the pure, all things are pure. And that's what the Bible says. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. See it? That's simple. Because the pure in heart are not easily offended, are they? You take a little child and the child did something and you snapped off on the child, maybe even gave them a whooping and they cried and everything. A couple minutes later, the child comes right up to you, hops right in your lap and hugs on you and kisses on you and tries to play with you as if nothing had ever happened. They don't hold grudges. They're not easily offended. You yelled at them, you screamed at them, you got short temper with them and everything, but they weren't easily offended by it. So he says, become a child again, become innocent-minded about things. Just because somebody says something about you, it doesn't mean it's true. That's what you have to know about the enemy. That's all they're doing. They're giving you an option. They're trying to convince you that you feel the way that they feel in their heart. No, I don't. And it's that simple. I don't feel like you feel in your heart. You hate me without a cause. I don't hate you. That's Jacob and Esau all over again. It's Abel and Cain all over again. And so it is with you. If you fell on the Abel side of your bloodline, then there's going to be Cainite side of your bloodline that are going to hate you and want to murder you and kill you. And they are doing so in their hearts. And you feel it every time you're around them. But yet they don't have the balls enough to speak up on it. Because if they spoke up on it, then they'd be speaking the truth, which they can't do. They have to lie. They have to say, you got this problem with me. You're the one that walked by and don't speak to me, when it's them that doesn't speak to you. You may have walked past this family member and said hello to them, and they ignored you and didn't say anything. And then you said again, and they ignored you. And then after about 2 weeks of that, you said, they're doing this on purpose. They're ignoring me on purpose. But that doesn't look harmful to anybody, so people don't know how that's affecting me. This silence treatment, or whatever you want to call it, that I'm receiving. They don't see it and understand it, so they don't know how hurtful and damaging it is to a person that it's happening to. So you just bear it, because what that's doing to you is trying to convince you to lash out and become emotional. See, why you won't talk to me? They're just going to flip it. You don't talk to me. That's what they're going to say. But you're like, when I try to talk to you, you ignore me, and they're going to deny it. Oh, I don't be hearing you. I don't hear you when you walk past, say hello. I didn't hear that. That's just all they're just going to lie and gaslight and lie, because that's all they can do. It's all they can do. So you just bear it silently, like a sheep that's getting sheared, because you're getting sheared. Don't you feel it? Don't you feel the coldness? Come on, grandson, give it to him raw. A sheep has all his wool upon his body. He's warm in there. But when it gets shaved off, he gets cold until his wool grows back. It shivers a little bit. He's a little chilly because he's exposed to the outside environment, when his wool was his protection against the outside environment. Do you hear me, little flock? So he feels that. Well, so do you feel the coldness. So do you feel it. But don't let your love wax cold. Don't let your heart grow cold just because the outside of your body feels the coldness of the world that you live in. Remain silent, like Yahusha taught you, and be not offended when you get smacked, like the child is not offended. Be not offended when you get yelled at, like the child is not, because it's a lie. It's their own feelings. It's not you. It's their own misconceptions, like Miriam had, like Cain had, like Esau had, that their brother is the reason why they can't excel. Has nothing to do with it. If you do what's right, you will excel. That's what Abba told Cain. But he didn't want to do what was right. He wanted to focus on what his brother was doing, showing his envy for his brother and his coveting what his brother had. And you see it all through the scriptures over and over and over again. But my advice and my counsel to you, little flock, is to remain in the temple, to remain in the house. The last video I made, I talked about a man named Achan from the tribe of Judah, who, when they went to war, he took some goodly apparel, some gold, some silver, and he hid it in his tent. And the beloved brother Kobe brought up a good point and commented on that video and said he hid it in the heart of his tent. That's what the scripture said. Did you hear that, little flock? So when you're spiritual, then you understand what those words mean. Where your heart is, there will your treasure be also. Your heart is in your tent, which is your body. People forget that Moses didn't build a temple made out of bricks. He built a tabernacle, which is a tent, little flock, a humble abode. If Abba loves men who dwell in tents, that's because they dwell the way he does. A simple man dwelling in a humble abode. You see it? So it is with us. Dwell in your body humbly, in a humble body, with a humble presence, a shamefaced way of living. That's what pleases the Father, he says. But this trying to shine for men and trying to show off for men and trying to look good before men and trying to put on a good face for men is vanity. It doesn't get you anything in life. It only brings death. And so if these people want to hate you secretly, let them hate you secretly, and you bear it joyfully. Because he said, be of good cheer when they do these evil things to you. He's the only one can make sense out of the things that you go through. The right thought can. Truth, Yahusha. And he tells you to rejoice when they hate you and they revile you and despitefully use you. To be glad and be exceedingly glad, he said. For so they did this to the prophets of old. The other spiritually minded people who came to this earth were treated the same way, he said. So when you're treated that way, you get mad and you get sad and you get down. You're just proving you're in your carnal mind, don't understand the truth about it. Rejoice, he said. So if you get sad, you ain't listening to Christ. You can say all day you're listening to him, but you ain't of good cheer. You ain't joyful. You ain't glad. You don't rejoice when men revile you and hate you and despitefully use you and mistreat you. You get sad when they do it. You complain. You murmur. You sit in the corner and cry all goddamn day long. You ain't doing what Yahushua said. And all that crying ain't going to profit you nothing. When did it ever profit a child that was getting a whooping? When his father said, I'm going to give you that whooping, and he was set on giving it to him, that child could cry all the hell he wanted to. It didn't stop him from getting the whooping. So then why did you do it? Why did you scream and holler and beg and plead? The judgment is already set. You're going to get the ass whooping. So then shut up and take the ass whooping and go on with life. But people love doing things in vain. They love to waste the breath. They do. So little flock, be not ignorant of their devices. of their trying to act like they never did anything wrong to you while they sit and lie in wait for you to show that you know how they're treating you in their heart. Because that's what's really important. That's the truth of how they're treating you. Miriam proved that to everybody. She got leprosy. She didn't do anything physically to Moses, did she? See what I'm saying? Moses didn't even know Miriam felt that way about him, did she? I mean, did he? No. This is what I'm trying to tell you. People secretly harbor murder in their heart against you. His own sister did. You see it? So then you sit by and you simply wait for Abba to expose it, which is what he did. Which is what he did. And now who had to pray for Abba to relent in his punishment against them? Who had to pray? Moses did. The same one she was murdering and hating is the same one who had to intercede. So then let's see here. Who did Yahusha blame? Nobody. He said, forgive them. So then he interceded for those who did the hate against him. Moses did. Yahusha did. Let's see if Joseph did. What you all meant for evil, God meant it for good. So then while he was in that prison, did it seem like he would be sitting in that high position that he was at that moment? No. But faith and the substance of what you hope for, and you hanging on to that, is what will give it to you. And it gave it to Joseph despite all the things he had went through and all the hardships and the false accusations and lies that he went through. The woman tried to make Joseph look, Potiphar's wife tried to make Joseph look like the bad guy, didn't she? She tried to come on to him, but she lied in front of her husband and held up the piece of the garment of Joseph's garment that she tore. She held that up and said, he tried to rape me and I had to grab his garment and rip this piece as proof. But no, you actually were trying to have sex with him. See how this is going? And so did Joseph actually have to go to prison for that? Yes, he did. And he didn't even do anything wrong. But he had to go to prison. So then what if you were in the prison? Would you be the one sitting there going, see, I didn't even do anything, God. I did your ways and look what it gave me. Nothing. It didn't give me anything but heartache and pain and suffering. It was better for me to never have even did the right thing. I should have hit that shit. It's not what Joseph said. But that's how men think. I should have fucked that bitch. I ended up in jail anyway. I should have got some pussy first before I went to jail. Shit. Trying to do God's ways. What did it get me? I still got locked up. These niggas still win. No. Now Joseph is in this elevated position, feeding people and saving them, like I told you. So if the guy that gets hated ends up being the savior, and the end is the beginning, then who is the savior of the last days? See if you guys can do this math, and then I'll give you the answer. What have I told you since the very beginning? The grandson of God is the avenger. His name is Abel. See how that's going? The first shall be last. So the first Melchizedek is Abel. So then who will be the last Melchizedek? The grandson of right thought, nigga. The grandson of God, which is Abel. See how it connects like Legos every single time? See, because what is this proving? What is this proving by this sprouting from where he was cut? See, the tree was cut, but a sprout sprouted from the root. So from the very beginning of the plant, there's going to be a sprout that's going to sprout, and it's going to take a long time before he sprouts. He's going to sprout at the end of time. Yeah, it was cut and it resprouted. Who is that? That's the grandson. Like I keep telling you guys, all in the scriptures, all through prophecy. And why is the point? Because it shows God's grace and his patience and his tender mercy. He waited patiently for an extremely long time, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah. But now, the second Adam come a quickening spirit. So the second Abel is a quickening spirit. And the second, so on and so forth. Can y'all hear this today? The second Abel is a quickening spirit, born again of his father. So simple, and it's so easy, and it's not even hard. To represent God's grace that nothing changes. Even if you kill him, he will come back up and sit upon his throne. That story is in there over and over. The rainbow man sits upon that throne. Joseph had a coat of many colors. They stripped it off and beat him and were mad because he said he was going to sit in that high position. And he ended up sitting there anyway. They couldn't stop it because he's the rainbow man. So it is today. So it is today. The Rainbow Man. Y'all see that? So y'all be blessed today, little flock. Hope that message resonated with you guys and got you guys armor on point so that you know what's going on around you and you ain't tricked by these niggas no more. Doesn't matter how they act in front of you. Ignore it. Have self-control, which is a fruit of the spirit. So no matter what they do, you focus on self-control. And that's within you, isn't it? It's not outside of you. So long as you stay in the kingdom, and as Yahusha told me, don't come out of the house. As long as you don't leave the house, then you're safe. But if you leave your house, then you're not safe. Didn't we see that happen in that battle that we read about yesterday? When they went up there to AI and they lured AI out of their city and AI chased after them, but it was an ambush. And when they left their city, the Israelites went in and set their city on fire. See, they left their house, so they got destroyed. So then I would tell you, don't leave yours. Don't leave your state of peace and calm. They're going to try to provoke you, but they can't outpatient you. They can't outwait you because love is patient. So a carnally minded nigga cannot be as patient as you. So then outpatient him. Wait longer than that nigga do. If he's not talking to you, just wait. Just wait. Pressure gonna bust that pipe. Them heaping coals of fire is gonna burn them because they know they're hating you without a cause. That's why they're trying to fabricate a cause to hate you. See, don't give them one. Stay blameless. Stay blameless. Hey man, why you ain't talking to me? Well, the last few times I tried to speak to you, act like you weren't very interested in speaking back to me. So that's why I just said, well, if they don't want to speak or they don't want me talking to them, then I won't. I'm not gonna offend them. See that state of being, that harmlessness? So that's why. That's why I stopped speaking. To not offend. I tried to talk to you. You didn't respond. So that's that. Damn, this nigga still ain't acting crazy. No, I'm calm and peaceful. What are you? I'm calm. I'm calm. On the outside, he's trying to put that facade on. Yeah, I'm calm. Yeah, let me get away from here. Yeah. Before I end this message, one more little tidbit of information. I think this is relevant and it'll help you guys. When I was going through a divorce, my son was 3 years old at the time, and he was growing his locks. You know, because at that time, well, you guys know, I had very long hair. I had very long locks, you see. So my son was growing his locks. Now, when this woman decided she was going to divorce me, she dipped off, took my kids, and left. She immediately cut my son's locks off, took him to the barbershop, and then took a picture of him at the barbershop getting his hair cut, took a picture of his hair after it was done, and sent it to me. Now, she knows what, little flock? She knows that I don't want that hair to be cut. He's my son in my image, so I have locks. He should grow his like his father. And so you were agreeing with that as long as we were married, but now that you decide you want a divorce, now you're going to cut his hair. So the true intent of the reason why she cut his hair was to hurt me, correct? Because his hair was fine until we got divorced. So then what changed as to why his hair shouldn't be cut? Nothing but the divorce happened. But I'm handling the divorce so cool and calm because she's throwing everything she can at me. I'm just taking it on the chin, silently. I want this and I want that. Give me the car. Give me this. Here you go. Here you go. Yep, have it. You want it? Have it. Take it. Take it. She took everything. Take it. Take it. She took everything, including children. She took them. I'm like, I gave you everything and the kids even. What else do you want? I want you to bleed. I want you to beg. I want you to die. Really? Well, you ain't getting that. You ain't getting that because the Bible says you can't take my life. I know Job. People want to get mad at me for saying, oh, you're going to make my life a living hell to try to take care of these children and try to co-parent, which is impossible to do because we're two different minds. So when I say, well, then you're insisting on taking them from me, then have them. Then they say, I'm wrong for that. But they didn't read Job. Job lost his children. They didn't read Abraham. Abraham had to tell Ishmael and his mama that they had to go. And it greatly distressed him, but he had to do it because Abba had a promised seed for him. So now I have a new son, and his name is Promised King. See how that works? See how that working? That's his name. So then, guys, Abba's word just be true. if you trust and believe it and don't get all caught up in that bullshit they try to pull you into. So back to make the point, she cuts his hair, sends the pictures to me. She ain't sent me no pictures. She ain't called me about seeing the kids or nothing. Set up no time to see him. She has not contacted me other than to send me this picture randomly of his hair being cut. Okay. So I saw it, and I was doing a Bible study at that moment with a couple of people. I was in the midst of teaching the Bible when she sent me this picture. See, little fly? So when I saw it, of course, I got infuriated. I got upset and angry because I know what it entails. See, it's more than just cutting some fucking hair. It's, I'm going to do whatever I want to do to these kids, and you're not going to have no say in it anymore. That's what's really being said to me. So since I'm spiritual, I can hear that. So it infuriated me because what man wants to be told that when it comes to his children? Nobody does. You see? But that's what was happening. So I knew the tactic. So as I'm sitting there, I saw the hair, picture of the hair and everything. I stopped teaching the Bible for a moment and I said, hold on, guys, let me take a moment. And I sat back in the chair, I closed my eyes and I did just like this. And I did about 10 of those. Do you hear me, little flock? Does that make sense to the carnal mind? No. I took about 10 of those deep breaths like that. And while I was taking those breaths, I was saying, Father, what do I do? Now, I want you to compare what I'm going to tell you guys right now with the battle that we read about. When Jehoshaphat got afraid and he said, we don't know what to do, Father. We know not what to do, but our enemies have surrounded us and we are afraid and don't know what to do. But consider what I'm telling you. I said, I don't know what to say to this, Father. Oh, when she sent the picture, she said, do you like it? That's the provocation for me to go, fuck, no, I don't like it. What the fuck are you doing cutting his fucking hair? Cutting my son hair. All of that would have came out would have been ego. That would have been a man that still exists. That man was dead. But see how they're trying to pull him forth? Come on, man, come on. You can shake a dead nigga all you want. He's not going to respond. So watch this. Watch the spirit step in. You respond, Father. I don't know what to say. I don't know the right answer. If I say I like it, I'm lying. She knows that. That's why she's doing it. If I say I like his haircut, I'm lying. And I'm in sin and I'm wrong if I lie. If I say I don't like it, you hear this? If I say I don't like it, then she's going to say, well, why? And we're going to get into an argument and have to go back and forth. Why don't you like his hair? That's the next question that's coming. Why don't you like it? Then I'm going to have to say, well, because, you know, this, that, and the other. And then here comes the other part of, well, we ain't together no more. So you can't expect me to listen to you the way I used to. And blah, because that's really what you want to get across. See, not yours anymore. I don't listen to you anymore. Okay. So I said, Abba, what do I say? Abba says, ask her, how does your son feel about it? Does he like it? Hope you guys hear this, little flock. I don't get any credit for the answer because Abba gave it to me. Like he said, don't take thought of what you shall say. I'll tell you what to say in the moment when you need to. All I knew was I was infuriated and extremely hurt and saddened. I was already hurt and sad about the divorce and everything else I had been dealing with. Very beat down at that time. Leaning to the Father, what do I say? He says, ask her, does your son like it? So I got my phone and I said, does my son like it? Remember, she says, do you like it? My response is, does he like it? Now, do you think she expected that question to come back? Fuck no, because she's not carnally minded. I told you what she's baiting me for. When you throw bait in the water, you throw bait in the water to catch a fish. But bait doesn't affect a man. When he sees that hook come down with that worm on it, it doesn't affect him. It's not bait to him. So then let me throw you some bait. Do he like it? Yeah. And I said, well, then that's all that matters. And then she sent me a thumbs up text, and that was the end of that conversation. And I turned and continued teaching the Bible. And when I turned to finish teaching the Bible, I asked the people who were listening, did you guys see that? Yep, we saw exactly what you did. We understand it because they knew me, they knew her, they knew the children, everybody knew what was going on. They knew it. They said, yeah, that shit is wrong. That should have pissed me the fuck off. See how they're talking? They understood, they knew. And that ain't the only time I've had to do this. where I've had to turn and go, Abba, what to do? Because my enemies surrounded me. They're trying to pull me out. They're trying to provoke me. They're even using innocent children to do so. That is really hard on me. That part, y'all. That people that wicked, that they'll use children. That shit is crazy. They'll use innocent children to cause you pain and suffering. You see it in the Bible even. A woman had 7 sons and her sons were tortured and murdered right in front of her one by one. Just for the sheer reason of causing her immense pain and agony before taking her life as well. So when I see stories like that, then who am I to complain about what happened with my children? I got grace compared to her. Yep. So of course, as spiritual people, we're used to wrongdoing, y'all. We're used to being treated like crap. But it's okay, because we're not friends with this world. You know, when you live in life and you're in high school, you know your friends. And the rest of the people who you don't really know in high school, they're like background characters. You don't even notice them. We're the background characters of this world. You see it? But in our world, we're the main character. So it's time that you step up and be that main character. Silawam Mesra Allah.